The history The MotoGP is a motorcycle Grand Prix. The history of the Motorcycle Grand Prix is that it is the oldest of all world championships. It was started in 1949. The first premier class was 500cc. It was won by Leslie Graham. MV Augusta became the reigning champ of the Moto Grand Prix for 3 seasons and dominated the 500cc class for 17 years from 1958 to 1974. The governing bodies of the MotoGP is FIM, the top governing body of all motorcycle racing. IRTA, formed in 1986, and acts as the collective voice for high standards of the MotoGP. Dorna is at the heart of the company and acts as the media and event director. MISMA takes care of all the interests for the constructors of the MotoGP. Grand Prix Commission is the authority of the sport. The earliest races were done in Europe. The early constructors were MV Augusta, Soleria, Mondial, and Moto Guzzi. The legend of the MotoGP is Giacomo Agostini. He competed in 2 or 3 classes simultaneously. He has won 15 world titles and has 122 victories. He rode for MV Augusta. The safety of the MotoGP is controlled by FIM, which created the Grand Prix Safety Commission in 2003. Each circuit is personally walked and checked by the Safety Commission the day before your race, then rechecked by car before each practice, and then finally by the safety car narrators before the start of a race. Speeds of the MotoGP can reach up to 211 miles per hour. Races of the MotoGP are classified either wet or dry. Races are inherently dry races unless stated before a race. During a dry race, a white flag may be flown to indicate that it is going to rain. Riders can stop in pit lane to change their bikes or tires if they want. Sponsors of the MotoGP is BMW. Tissot is the official timekeeper. April is another official sponsor. Bridgestone is the tire sponsor of the MotoGP. Dunlop is the tire sponsor for the Moto2 and Moto3 races. Capcom is a MotoGP supplier. The media for the MotoGP is shown in 200 countries that receive live feed. It is broadcasted to 337 million households. 13,000 media personnel attend the MotoGP season. There are roughly 100,000 civilians that attend a weekend venue of the MotoGP. Most MotoGP riders are from Spain, Italy, and Germany. There are no women within the MotoGP sport. Most riders are about 20 to 30 years old. There hasn't been a death in the MotoGP since 2011. There has been 36 deaths in the MotoGP since 1949. The flags in the MotoGP indicate to the rider which is happening. Black flag with an orange circle. A rider must exit a race as his or her bike is a hazard. A white flag signifies that it is a wet race from a dry race. The blue flag signifies to the rider that the rider is about to be passed. A yellow flag means a delay of race, and a red flag means that the race is interrupted and the rider must proceed to pit lane. The bikes in the MotoGP are up to 1,000 cc's, and 2 strokes are forbidden. Within the Moto2 races, they are 600 cc's, and they are supplied by Honda. The Moto3 races are 250 cc motorcycles, but they only have 1 cylinder. The crossover from the MotoGP to passenger bike is primarily the carbon fiber which all the MotoGP bikes use, from either swing arms in the rims, and the brakes from the MotoGP to the passenger bikes are of the disc brakes that are currently being used on every motorcycle on the road right now. The strengths and weaknesses of the MotoGP is that the MotoGP has a strong and loyal fan base and always has new innovations. The weaknesses of the MotoGP is that it can be very expensive, and it is hard to invite new crowds to the event. And that is my presentation.